Good morning, everyone, and a very warm welcome to our event today. And I think the first thing I want to say is just how fabulous it was to see such an interesting event. Originally, we were maybe planning for about 100 people, but we had to expand the numbers today because of this demand and interest. So wonderful to see that interest and passion for STEM. And a big thanks from Education Scotland too to all of you for taking time out of your busy schedules. And also a special thanks to those that have travelled quite a distance to be with us today. So just want to set a brief scene about Scotland. Our ambition is really to be a leading STEM nation. But I'm really conscious where, the event's taking place in Glasgow Science Centre today. And 100 years ago, this is what would have been probably in the place of Glasgow Science Centre. Big ships. At that time, Glasgow was obviously the second city of the empire and producing a lot of the big industries, the shipbuilding, the railways, the jute industry in Dundee. This was a big part of what we were doing in terms of leading the Industrial Revolution. I don't think they worry too much about health and safety in those days. I'm just looking at some of where people are perched. But they get a good view anyway. And I don't know about you, but everywhere I go in the world, I'm really, really proud to tell people about all our STEM inventions and our innovation. From the TV, the telephone, tarmac, ultrasound, the screw propeller for ships, which was invented on the Clyde as well, logarithms, and the mother of all inventions, the overdraft, also invented in Scotland. Where would we be without the overdraft? None of this STEM innovation would have been possible without our financial innovation as well. But of course, STEM is not about we can celebrate our legacy and appreciate our legacy in the past, but it's also very much about the future. And Sam mentioned about the key economic sectors in Scotland, finance, renewable energy. This big picture up the top is the European Marine Energy Centre up in Orkney, world-leading research in terms of marine renewable energy, the creative and digital technologies, food and drink, again, going through a sort of boom just now. Life sciences, a big growth sector in the Highlands, as well as Edinburgh and other parts of Scotland too. So, a big part of the growth in terms of jobs and industries, very much in these sectors. So Scotland's very much looking to the future and also about the careers and skills our industries and economy will need. And it's not just about jobs. So let's bear in mind it's about skills for life. These STEM skills are skills that we all need for life because we live in an increasingly technological society. But we need STEM skills as well for our health, our well-being, our nutrition, to make sensible decisions about important global events, be it climate change, fracking, genetic engineering and so on. So this for us is very much about skills for life. I'll also add another thing into the mix. STEM is really important because it's a fantastic way to learn. And one of the real things I'm struck by, and you maybe get a sense of this today going around the workshops and the stalls, is that I love to see the engagement you get with STEM from mums, dads, young kids, pupils at primary school and secondary school. So everywhere I go, I see people really excited about the hands-on nature of STEM, the curiosity, the discovery as well. So let's not forget, it's just a great way to learn as well. And then we've got some big challenges. This was a study from UK Engineering, or Engineering UK, just last year. And they, through their work, found out that only 1 in 3 teachers in Scotland feels confident about giving advice about engineering careers. And yet at the same time, there's nearly 47,000 engineering companies in Scotland. So we need to watch out for this disconnect between our learning and our economy and our society. And obviously this is a big part of the work we're doing through STEM, but also through our Developing Young Workforce programme and through our career education standard to make sure that we're bridging that divide between the world of industry and our economy and the world of education and learning. And so this is really sets the scene for the STEM strategy. Why now? It's because of the big opportunities we've got, because of the demands of industry and the economy, and also because this is good for our young people. So, and I suppose that's an important point. It's not just about young people, it's about adults too. So the STEM strategy was published in October 2017. 4 big themes: excellence and equity, no big surprises there because it's such a big focus for our whole approach to education in Scotland, but also connection and inspiration. How do we connect up sectors, community learning and development, primary schools, early learning and childcare, for instance. And I think the really important thing as well about the STEM strategy, the Minister was very clear when this was being developed, that it's not just about schools and young people, it's very much about adults too. So this is a STEM education and training strategy for Scotland, for all sectors. And it's a 5-year strategy, so it gives us a really good run at this to really put the key infrastructure in place and to get it right. A big part of the work that Education Scotland's doing within the STEM strategy is professional learning. One of our big tasks, our day job, is to find ways of providing high quality professional learning to 86,000 practitioners across Scotland. We've counted them all. And that's our task, and we're really serious about reaching those 86,000 practitioners. So one of the things we've been doing over this last year is doing a lot of consultation. We launched our annual practitioner surveys for schools, early learning, but also for community learning and development. This just gives you a flavour of some of those responses, and John will be leading a workshop in the afternoon to go into this in a bit more detail. I think one of the things that really struck me when I was reading this, 44% of the CLD respondents said they had little or no access to professional learning. That's something we really, really want to change. And this event today is the first offering in that regard, and hopefully the start of a whole process. We asked people what their most useful professional learning was, certainly about awareness about the resources and professional learning available for STEM, and we've got some of our key partners here today to help us with this, which is great. How to embed STEM within current practice. Again, this is why we've structured today in the way that we have, and using STEM as a context to increase skills and numeracy. So all of this information you provided us with is really useful. It's really helping to shape and inform our discussions and our decisions about the next steps with the STEM strategy. And we also know that part of the challenge is quite often in Scotland. We're really blessed. Sometimes there's so much STEM things happening. It's hard for people to find out what the right thing is for them. So one of the commitments that we have in the STEM strategy is to develop a new online resource. And we've started to work on that just now. And as part of that, to develop a new online directory to help you navigate quite easily to the resources, to the support that can really support your efforts in working within your own contexts and within your own communities. So this is just a flavour of some of the actions that we're working on just now. And also with support from Scottish Government, we were really pleased to launch the first round of our Enhancing Professional Learning in STEM grants programme. So over the last couple of weeks, we've just handed out £187,000 to 24 projects around Scotland to really see how we can expand the current offer, how we can really make sure there's geographical equity to the offer. So we're making support available, for instance, in rural areas, and really scale up existing approaches which have proven to be successful. So this is a really exciting time for us. We're really pleased and delighted and excited about the projects that we're able to support. And one of the things we're really pleased about was the community learning and development was really well represented within the grants programme. So we're able to support projects, for instance, in Aberdeenshire, in Aberdeen City, Midlothian, Edinburgh and East Lothian, Glasgow Clyde College to share some of their practice. Youth Scotland are here today and running a workshop, I think this afternoon, in South Lanarkshire. The good news is we're working away, and hopefully in the next few weeks we'll be able to launch a second round of grant funding for this year. So if you have exciting ideas or things that you want to do within your own communities, please speak to us about your ideas, and we're happy to support you in terms of bidding for these grants. The other thing we're really pleased about is that we've just been joined by some new colleagues who are with us today. We've got some of our colleagues from Education Scotland. You know that Education Scotland and the educational landscape, and perhaps many of us are moving to this new regional structure. So we've just welcomed 7 new permanent STEM education officers to Education Scotland who are going to be supporting a lot of this activity within the regions, working alongside you and with other key partners to help coordinate some of the activity. Here's one example of some of the work that we're doing just now up in the Northern Alliance. Looking at some of the work, there's 5 new mini science centres called Newton Rooms being set up just now, literally just about to launch. That's really exciting infrastructure for people across Highland. We know there's a similar model being developed in Moray just now. We have funding from Serene Wood and the Wood Foundation for dedicated primary science STEM development officers called RAISE officers. Aberdeen Science Centre, I think, are just employing 2 new community officers to work across the whole of the Highland region. We've got college STEM hubs. That was one of the key actions in the STEM strategy for our colleges, really to enhance and expand their offer in terms of professional learning and support for families and communities around STEM. And also, just last week I spoke to the UK Space Agency. I don't know if you know, but there's a new spaceport opening up in the Highlands. Really exciting development for that part of the world, and there's going to be benefits for Moray as well in terms of some of the industries moving in there to support that. So part of the work of the new regional teams will be to work with all these key partners, look at all the sort of resources that are available within the regions and really ask that big question, how can we best support and grow this activity to help it to flourish? And then for us, at the heart of all the work that we want to do, children and families, we really, really big focus on early learning and childcare because we know this is such an important part of the STEM journey. As well as children and families, gender is a really important thing for us. And just look at these young people here using real saws, real hammers and power tools. So how can we build on all that fantastic learning that they're doing at that age and make sure we've got that progression in learning all the way through primary school and secondary school so we don't lose that momentum or that passion or that enthusiasm. I told you we're welcoming a new team of STEM education officers to Education Scotland. We've also just welcomed a new team of 6 improving gender balance and equalities officers. So they've been doing a lot of work we've had 2 officers for the last 3 years doing a lot of work to find new ways to tackle the gender gap within STEM and beyond. And that has been a really successful pilot for us in partnership with Skills Development Scotland, Institute of Physics. We're now in the process of expanding that to authorities across Scotland. So a lot of resources available and real support for you there to access. Key research, and this is I suppose my main message for you today. This research from Aspires is really important. What it tells us is that unless we're engaging with parents and families, we know that many young people will rule themselves out of really exciting STEM careers. So parental engagement, family engagement, community engagement is absolutely the heart of what we want to do within STEM. If you haven't had a chance to engage with that research, please do so. Some really fascinating messages. And what they're proposing is this science STEM capital approach. So the science capital is very much about what you know, how you think. Do you visit your local science centre with your parents or your carers at the weekend? Do you watch STEM programmes on TV? Do you talk about STEM? This is really important, and the support from all of you is really crucial in helping us build that science and STEM capital nationally. That's me finished. There's a lot of support resources that you can stay connected to, our STEMie bulletin, our blog. You can follow us on Twitter. And don't forget our National Improvement Hub. Just type in STEM into the big box, the big search box, and I'll bring up all the relevant resources. So a special thanks. I hope you really enjoyed today. Thank you.